recording with Miss Clare Lopez on Thursday, March 28th, 2024 at 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. I guess a lot has happened. We didn't speak last week. Entirely my fault. But we're talking obviously now. If you go into the description, you can go get links to all Claire's writings, all the websites, and as well as her Twitter. Please go follow her on Twitter. And I suppose it's now a Thursday thing. You're on OAN. But regarding, I guess the two big topics in the news are the ISIS terror attack in Moscow, as well
Yeah,
as the bridge
right.
in Baltimore. And of course, my luck, I have my two best friends live in Baltimore, so I immediately text them. I was like, like they're good, but unfortunately, there are I think six people still missing. But
Actually, I think they just recovered two bodies, unfortunately, two
uh,
guys in a truck at the bottom of the
the
river,
construction workers, right?
and four now remaining to be found.
Yeah. So which one do you want to jump into first, the bridge or Moscow,
Well,
or
let's do
whatever
Moscow
you want?
first, and then we'll come home and do Baltimore Bridge.
Yeah. So Moscow attack. What is it? 130 dead. ISIS K is
More than
claim
that, yeah,
ICE.
upwards,
Yeah.
137, 139.
And ISIS K is claiming responsibility. What is there anything more to it than that?
Well, there may be. First of all, it's Islamic State, not ISIS. ISIS
Okay.
changed its name to just Islamic State in 2014. It's been simply IS ever since. And it was in about that same year, 2014, 2015, that the Middle East, I guess call it headquarters of the Islamic State, sent out a team and funding to establish a foothold in Afghanistan. And that is the one that is now called ISK, Islamic State Khorasan. The Khorasan part is kind of interesting. It refers to the large province, furthest eastern province of the Persian Empire back in the day. It went all the way as far east as Afghanistan, even further, actually, into some of the Central Asian republics too. And its name of that province was Khorasan. So it's kind of interesting that a Sunni based Islamic State out of the Middle East calls its Afghanistan branch after the name of a Shiite empire.
Mm.
But anyway, that's where that comes from. And that's who, through its public media, its outlets, claimed responsibility for this horrific attack at the Crocus City Music Hall in an outskirt suburb, I guess you'd call it, of Moscow, about a week ago or so, more than that now. And what happened is that it was all caught on film, so I suppose many people have seen the video. Um, Four guys dressed in camouflage um, entered into this concert hall carrying AK-47s, or maybe they were 74s, but in any case, Kalashnikov automatic rifles, and began just shooting, mowing down anybody, beginning with the unarmed guards outside of the room itself, the concert hall itself. And then they went inside and were just mowing down people right and left. It was pretty horrific. Had to have been terrifying for the people inside. And as you said, an awful big, count of those killed. And something like, I think it's 182 is the last number I think I saw of injured, in addition to all of those killed. And they were working, these four gunmen, working together, as a team, it looked like. I mean, as if they had rehearsed ahead of
Mm-hmm.
time. They were proficient with the weapons, unfortunately. Um, and within 18 minutes, it was all done. They tossed incendiary explosives into the hall as they exited and set the place on fire. which added to the death count, no doubt, and injury count.
Jesus.
And eventually, the whole roof fell in. And then they left, and they got in a little sedan car that apparently there was an all points bulletin out about, and started driving away. And they were caught. And we saw film of that too, with the Russian authorities having them in custody. They were later brought into court for an arraignment. They were all bloody. They'd obviously been beaten up. One guy had his ear cut off. And if it turns out, like you said, immediately Islamic State Khorasan claimed responsibility. Now, they have claimed responsibility in the past for things they did not do. It gets them in the news. It
Yeah.
gets them, out there with publicity, right? Whether they actually did the deed or not. But then under questioning, and some of that's on video too, these four gunmen they captured, at least one of them, under questioning, is saying that he's a Tajik, meaning from Tajikistan, one of the Central Asian republics, and that he was a migrant laborer in Russia, and that he had no money, couldn't find work. And so that's why when he saw an ad on Telegram to recruit people to come to Moscow, and they would pay them a lot of money to kill people, he jumped on it. That's what he said under questioning on the video. Now, this doesn't even begin to make sense
No.
to me. And again, looking at the video that we have inside the concert hall as the attack was going on, we can see that these four gunmen, including the one on in the under questioning in the film, were proficient with their weapons, and they were methodical and working as a team. And that's an immigrant migrant laborer from Tajikistan who can't find work. I don't know. Anyway, that's where it sits at the moment. President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, waited an entire day till the next day to make an appearance and a statement for over the media, of the TV, for the Russian people. And of course, I guess as we might expect, he immediately tried to turn attention and at least indirectly blame at Ukraine, which is not going over. Everybody sees straight through that, and that's where we're at. So for me, there are more questions maybe remaining than questions answered about the whole thing, which honestly kind of quickly faded from the media. Now, yeah, there are a lot of other things going on. Israel, United Nations Security Council resolution votes, the Francis Scott Key Bridge over in up there in Baltimore. Well, it's up there geographically for me in Baltimore, Maryland. So a lot of things have happened, but that story about the concert hall attack really seems to me to have been dropped kind of quickly.
And it's almost it almost feels like a show trial that I'm even asking the questions. But like, what was the reasoning behind why they did it? Just kill the infidels?
From what the one captured guy said, it was for money.
Oh no, him. I
It
mean
was a
the
large amount of money for
well
a laborer out of work.
for him, but what orchestrating it? Why was the attack carried out?
Well, we don't
Whoever was,
know.
but is
I
is it
mean,
just the baseline kill the infidels?
well, it depends on who did it. And we don't really know for certainty, for certain, who actually conducted that attack or orchestrated that attack. Was it really three migrant laborers from
Of, of,
Tajikistan?
of course not. Of
Was
course not.
it, them, the Tajiks, recruited and maybe trained by the Islamic State Khorasan? It's possible. But in some of the announcements or the statements put out by ISK, uh, they said that they did this because of Chechnya, Afghanistan, and Syria, in each of which place um, Russia has been involved in, attacks against Muslim populations. But every single one of those is eons ago. It's decades ago for every one of them. Chechnya, Afghanistan ended in 1989.
Yeah.
Syria, the involvement of the Russians there, more recent perhaps. The propping up of the genocidal regime in Damascus of Bashar al-Assad, yes. Um, but still
Yeah.
quite some years ago. So does that make sense
No, and it's
as a reason, or do we look to somewhere else?
yeah.
False flag. I mean, Putin and the KGB have certainly conducted false flag attacks before, specifically against apartment
I was about
housing,
to say
residential housing.
with which I including Chechnya, right?
Well, that was the
The argument, yeah.
excuse, the predicate for the Russians then going in to clobber Chechnya and raise Grozny, the capital, basically to the ground.
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, if they're saying let's just take them at face value and say it's in response to these things, it's not even like it's some wildly complex operation that it's like we bided our time for 20 years. It's horrible, but I mean, come on, it's four dudes with AKs walking into a crowded. You're right. That you don't need that many brain cells to carry that out. Now, if we're going the false flag route, you'd say, this is a response for Chechnya, which itself might have been a false flag, so it's a false flag on top of a false flag. Um, but then what's the reasoning for that? Russia's already geared up. They're already geared up. They're in a war mode.
Yeah.
And do they have interests? And is it to go?
After Ukraine, I mean, Putin, of course, just won his
Yeah,
reselection
yeah.
to the presidency of the Russian Federation just a short time ago. Another 6 years in office. Yeah, he won with like 120% of the registered voters, amazing.
It's really
Kind of sounds
impressive.
like, I don't know, Pennsylvania or Georgia or Michigan or something.
Yeah, sadly.
But in any case, Russia immediately turned around and unleashed a bombardment of missile and drone strikes against Ukraine, its capital city, Kiev, but also Kharkov, which is in the northern part of the Donbass, and then also much further to the west in Lviv, the city that is close to the border with Poland. And I don't know if you heard this, Tommy, or not, but apparently one of the missiles fired probably at Lviv, but it actually exited Ukrainian territory and overflew Polish territory for a distance of something like 2,000 meters before, I guess, circling back and hitting Lviv or in western Ukraine. The Poles apparently understood the trajectory of that missile, did not respond to it, um, and no damage was done in Poland. But I mean, this sort of shows how things could get out of control at some point. And very recently, within the last day or two, I guess, Putin has issued a statement, contrary, by the way, to many, many earlier statements and speeches and essays and writings that he has issued over the years, saying recently now that, oh, we have no intention of attacking the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and no, we never dreamed we were, of attacking Poland. Yeah, that's not what he was saying for the last 20 years.
Mm. Yeah, you could. is that kind of a shot across the bow without being a shot across the bow?
I
Oops.
mean, maybe in response to the world realizing that one of the missiles overflew Poland for a while,
Mm,
um, scrambling to clean up, the aftermath of that errant missile. I don't know, but it's certainly contrary to many of Putin's and his other top leadership, like Medvedev, earlier, speeches, statements, and written essays too, in which they very openly, very candidly say their intention is to um, I don't know, gather in all of what they consider to be Greater Russia,
yeah.
meaning the Russian Empire. I
Soviet
mean, they've
bloc nations.
repeatedly talked about that for the last how many years, decades.
Regarding the only thing, I mean, I'm just in all my experience as a world leader. I mean, let's say they carried out the theater attacks or genuine whatever. Is the reason the only thing I could possibly is some sort of like sympathy or camaraderie with the West, after Hamas and Israel to be like, hey, look, we still got this common enemy. Do you think it's just like it's like a Hail Mary kind of attempt at that? Or, was this just like a yeah, man, what a surprise. Radical Islamists do just mow down civilians from time to
Yeah,
time.
I don't know. I mean, it is Ramadan, which is
Ramathon.
traditionally the Islamic month of jihad, not Islamist, not radical, not extreme at all. This is totally mainstream normative Orthodox Islam, to fight and kill the infidel wherever you may find him, lay in wait and besiege him in every stratagem of war. Um, so nothing extreme or radical at all, straight up the middle Islam. And it is the month of Ramadan, which began, what was it, sundown on March 10 and finishes sundown April 10. I believe that's how it is. Um, so, but why all of the anomalies, that that
Yeah.
that we mentioned there? And yes, I mean, for quite a while, Putin has had a, what would you call it, a modus vivendi agreement with Israel, with specifically Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, about Israel's need to go after Syrian, Iranian, Hezbollah, um, weapons storage and weapons transfer facilities and activities, certainly with the precision guided missile upgrade kits for the Hezbollah missiles, that sort of thing. But an agreement that Russian air defense, which protects, the genocidal murderer Bashar al-Assad in Damascus, but that air defense would not go after the IAF, Israeli Air Force, if it comes to take out, these Iranian and Iranian proxy targets that threaten Israel inside of Syria. So that agreement has been in effect for at least the last few years. Um, so I mean that, is again, it's a modus
Sure.
vivendi, if you will, um, with Israel. So it's not exactly, some sort of statement of solidarity with the Jewish state of Israel in the wake of the horrific October 7th, 2023 Shabbat massacre. It predates that. That agreement predates that attack. So I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, then there's also just like I do try to remind myself, not to put it, I guess, informally, but sometimes shit happens. It's not everything is a puppet of a puppet, part of a grand master plan. Sometimes things just happen. Regarding the Francis Scott Key Bridge, is there any anomalies around that, or was that just I'll be honest, I have not looked into it at all. I know I've seen the pictures of it's collapsed
Yeah,
and it's like on a cargo ship.
horrible. Well,
That's all I
you
know.
know, I would say at the moment we simply do not know. It's my understanding that the National Transportation Security Board um, recovered the black box. Ships have black boxes like
Mm-hmm.
airplanes do. And this one, of course, the ship not having been terribly damaged, the bow part, yes, but the black box recovered, I think, yesterday, maybe. And so they should be able to get, a good amount of information from that black box as to what exactly happened. Um, but so far that, what we can see in the videos that have been released, and there's video footage of the entire event.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very obvious that at some point that ship, a big cargo ship, it's a great big cargo ship with all those,
Yeah.
containers stacked on it. It is owned, I believe, by a Far Eastern, East Asian company, I think out of Singapore, if I remember. And the imagery on the video show that uh, the ship completely lost power
Yeah.
because you can see all the lights on the ship go out at a particular point. Um, and that means that, the engine lost power, the rudder, the steering system lost power, everything lost power. Um, and then I guess it came back on again briefly, at which point they're probably, gunning the engine to try to steer in the right direction, hard rudder to the port side, meaning left. And then the power goes out again, and the ship somehow continues on a starboard, that is right, course that took it smashing right into that support structure of the bridge, and it came down, I mean, just immediately almost. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see what the what is it, NTSB
Mm-hmm.
investigation, comes up with. That's going to take a while. I mean, there's a huge amount of debris, tangled metal, debris at the bottom of the water. They're going to have to recover all that. They want to, of course, clear all that
Well,
as
for
quickly as
shipping.
possible because there are, I think it's like 6 ships trapped within Baltimore Harbor that can't get out for the time being. Never mind, all the traffic on the north-south I-95 corridor completely shut down at that point. And that is one of the busiest north-south corridors in the United States. One of, I guess, the two major ones, the other one being out west, California, West Coast, north, south. But this one, incredibly important for, commercial traffic as well as personal traffic. But here thinking about supply chain issues
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing. So it's going to take a long time though to clear that debris. It's tons and tons and tons of twisted metal and
Yeah.
steel and concrete. And at the same time, of course, the NTSB is looking for, the evidence, so the whatever evidence is there within the wreckage that would guide them to understand what happened, and of course that, in conjunction with reviewing whatever is on the black box, will eventually guide the investigation. But I would say for the moment, it's probably best to avoid wild speculation, which is running
It's
absolutely
just
crazy all
like
over
a
the internet. You've probably seen
wildfire.
some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's the height of irresponsibility, honestly, to be speculating this soon after the catastrophe when none of us really knows what really happened. I think the black box will give some of the first clues, though.
I don't even really, I guess, mind the spec because people are going to speculate, and that's just that's the other side of free speech is
Yeah,
theories go wild.
human
Sure,
nature, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah, human nature,
Get some
gossiping.
clicks,
Sure, I get that, and a lot of people, yeah, they're turning ad revenue. But yeah, there is, and that's why earlier I said sometimes shit just happens. It's like I looked at this, and it's of course it's sad, but immediately on like Rumble, it's like on the front page, it's like, is this the Black Swan of? And I'm just looking at it, and I was just thinking
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
man, sometimes it just happens. The what Exxon Valdez, like that guy was just
yeah,
drunk. He was a drunk. It wasn't. It
yeah.
was, and I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's not
Well,
necessarily.
the other thing is that this particular vessel, this cargo ship, had a kind of a spotty record in the past,
They often the Exxon
in
Valdez
terms of,
ones, the guy had like strike after strike, but it was nepotism,
yeah.
and he had a buddy who had a buddy who got him off. And when it finally happened, it was something like, why wasn't this guy imprisoned years ago?
Well, I mean, the vessel supposedly apparently passed its last inspection, but again, there is this spotty record of, security concerns going back years, as I understand it. I mean, you got to factor all that in, but the bottom line is right now, we just don't know.
Yep.
And speculating just, runs wild and it doesn't help things.
There never there needs to be an internet, like a new law, right? You have um obviously Occam's razor, and then you've got the other law is don't attribute to malice what can be incompetence. And then I think there's
Mm.
Poe's law, which is, after X amount of time on any internet argument about any topic, eventually, you know like 40% of the way through the life of the argument, someone will be accused of being Hitler. um there needs to be a law. It's like, don't attribute to malice or conspiracy what is grift. Never underestimate how far people will
Yeah.
just take a thumbnail, slap it up, Baltimore ship, China involved, question mark, clickbait thumbnail. Truly, and I love conspiracy, but I mean, truly, there's also, I like to cover stuff that I feel like there's at least a shred of evidence about something may be this, that, or the other thing. People immediately ask me, they're like, you got to do a ship episode. And I was like, no, I don't I don't know anything about ships or bridge engineering. I mean, most things I talk about, I know something. I'm like, I don't know, man. And I don't know. I hate the grift though.
Well, at the moment, while they're still trying to recover
The
the
bodies.
still missing four people, who I think were the workers on the
Yeah.
bridge. Now, the two most recently just recovered were two guys in a truck, and I don't know if they were the maintenance workers or other
Are
people
there two migrant
who were
construction
on the bridge. I
workers?
don't know, but I think our attention at the moment needs to be with them. You know, their heroism, first of all, in trying when they realized something was wrong and going to happen, to radio in. They got a message from the boat, a Mayday message, and then they in turn issued a warning to stop traffic
Oh,
from going
wow.
across the bridge. I think that's what we need to focus on right now, and acknowledgement of their heroism, and then sympathy, and for the families of those still missing, pronounced dead, the two, and four more still missing. I think that's where we need to concentrate for right now.
Mr. Rogers said, in any tragedy, look for the helpers. I think that's kind of a still. He said, in any tragedy or any horrible event, always look for the helpers. You'll always
You
find
know,
some
I'm
silver
I, I'm
lining.
actually I think we all are grateful that not more people were on that bridge at the time. It was, in I guess the wee hours of the morning when this happened. And so traffic would have been light, but um, six is six too many for every one of them and their
Well, yeah,
families. But um, perhaps we can be thankful that there were not more.
yeah, yeah. No, the one picture I saw was a guy who lived there for 19 years. He's like father of five, construction worker, and you're just like,
Mhm.
damn, man, that's somebody's dad, like somebody's,
Yeah.
you know.
Husband, brother, father, son.
And
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it is kind of one of the things. I mean, I remember when my brother died about 10 years ago. I remember my dad saying, he goes, "It's our turn." You
Mm.
always see stuff on the news, and it's not you, right? It's oh man, did you hear about so and so? You see a plane crash, you're like, oh, not me. Well, not me is it's always someone else. Eventually, it
Until
happens
it
to you,
is.
and
Yeah.
then you're the not
Yeah.
me to someone else, and it's your turn. I was just looking
Yeah.
at that, like, man, it's their turn, and like that, you know, and then
Well,
it
I'll
does,
mention,
yeah.
I was going to say, I'll mention something else that just came to the news yesterday, I think. And that was an announcement by President Joe Biden. Did you see this? That, oh, the federal government's going to pick up the tab for repairing the bridge and rebuilding the bridge. What? This was a commercial company, a shipping company, owned and operated out of the Far East. I think, again, as I said, a Singapore flagged anyway, ship. But company, not American company, company from the Far East. What? Why would the United States taxpayer, that's you and me and all of our viewers, be picking up the tab for this when they are obligated by law to have insurance to cover things like this, horrible tragedies, catastrophes like this? Why on earth would President Joe Biden, out of the clear blue sky, I mean, I don't know if he checked this with his handlers before he said this or not, but that the US government would pay for the the cleanup and the reconstruction of the bridge. That to me makes no sense at all.
Well, it
And
seems,
no, I mean just no. I'm as an American citizen taxpayer, no.
yeah. I mean, I think the Biden administration has a. I think there's a lot of foggy, iffies, uh, scenarios regarding anything in the Far East. So who knows? Lastly, I was going to say, what's the importance of? I've kind of been checked out from the news, and it's
Hmm.
been very enjoyable. What is the I guess the update on whatever lawsuit, whatever court bullshit Trump's dealing with in New York? Is that even mention worthy?
Yeah, of course it is. I've lost track a little bit of which case is which case and which date and which court, but I gather he was in New York yesterday. I think this is the Letitia James Alvin Bragg case about the allegation that he somehow overvalued his property when he went to the banks for loans backed by the collateral of those properties, but the banks were perfectly happy. The banks made tons of money. The Trump company paid everything back on time with interest. No victim, nobody was harmed in any way, and all the banks want to do more business with the Trump company. Um, I think it was that case, but it could have been the one. I mean, there's another one that has to do with the Stormy Daniels accusations um, that President Trump denies ever even knowing this woman, but that she has accused him of rape, which was not proven, was uh, denied by the jury as a proven allegation, not proven, but that President Trump, somehow maligned this person, um, by saying that he denied not only having assaulted her in any way, shape, or form, but not even knowing her. So
Hmm.
it's one of those cases. I do lose track.
Hmm. And I guess lastly, I was going to say is there. I feel like those were the two big stories with the bridge and the theater attack. I'll be totally honest.
For
I've
now,
I've
don't say
come
much. Don't say anything. But for
knock
the
on
moment,
knock on wood. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I guess kind of the bigger right. Trump is the nominee, right?
he is the nominee for the
That's kind of
Republican Party,
it's kind of
candidate for
wild.
president.
That's not
Um,
a bigger thing. It seems like a lot of
and
people are just
Biden is
yeah.
the Democrat candidate for president. I mean, as long as he can manage to remain upright,
No, they'll remove him.
we shall see what happens. There's a lot of, I guess, jockeying, maneuvering. I don't know what you'd call it going on within the Democrat Party, which is really sweating it out right now. They know, looking at polls, and for whatever credibility we assign to polls, okay, but that in particular in all these battleground states, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, all of these places, in every single one of those states, at least at the moment, former President Trump is up by multiple points, even sometimes double digits, depending on the poll, over uh, President Biden. And so it doesn't matter so much about the popular vote, as we know, but we have the system of an electoral college. And these battleground states, the ones where it's always close, very close, they're the ones that really matter and can tip the balance one way or another. So, these surveys coming out certainly must be giving a lot of grief to the Democrat Party. The other thing I would tie this all to is our wide, wide open southern border. And reporting is coming about just recently about, how many tens and tens and tens of thousands of criminals, actually those with criminal records, have been apprehended at that border, never mind all the gotaways. And fiscal year 2023 is not even finished until September 30th of this year, 2024. Still, I don't know, we're in the middle of it or so. But a point about that, and tying it together with these battleground states and the close margins that at least have been in the past, is that what it does look like is a policy of the Biden administration to flood illegal aliens, especially into places like the battleground states, but
Mm-hmm.
also other places, maybe California, that may tip, the census numbers. That's what I'm talking about. Now, we just had a census not that long ago, and another one's not due for a while. But the census counts everybody living in that district, whatever the district is, the county, or, whatever the state, whether they're legal American citizens or not. And we will recall that when President Trump was in office, he tried to get added to the census questionnaire form a question: are you an American citizen, right? And that got denied, that got turned down. So that question was not in the most recent census questionnaire, which means that everybody who's in that district gets counted. And that'll happen the next time. And why is this so important? Because of apportionment. And apportionment means, depending on that census count of population, that's how congressional seats are apportioned. How many, House and Senate, Senate is two each per state, but how many House seats are assigned to that district, county, or state, and and how many electoral college votes does that state then get? That's why it's important. And it
Uh,
may be, that the Biden administration and the rest of the Democrats are looking ahead to the future and the next census count, um, and apportionment thereafter.
yeah, I don't think anyone who's honest with themselves doubts that. I think, excuse me, I think that's exactly what's going on. Um, but for now, Ms. Lopez, I say we wrap this one up because I have to be finished a couple minutes before one anyway. Again, guys, please go in the description. Please go to any of those links, especially her Twitter. And do you have any plugs that I don't have in the description? Do you have anything where you'd like to? I have your Twitter. I have your Facebook. I have American Truth Project, the United West, CC National Security, and DefendTheBorder.org. Is that all of them?
Those are the top ones I would say. I think you got them. Yeah, thank you.
If I am anything, I'm not many things, but I am thorough. So
Yes, you
I'll
are.
take that. Um, Miss Lopez, as always, it is a pleasure talking to you, and it's always the last episode I do. So it always does leave a a good taste in my mouth because it's always the last episode I do of the week. So I'm always excited
Ah,
to.
very
It's like
good.
it's Pavlovian. I've associated. I do my episodes with you, and then it's time for my weekend. So I don't know. I don't know. Take that as a win,
Well,
I
good.
suppose.
Enjoy the weekend. And if you celebrate Easter, have a
I
very
will.
happy Easter, you and your family.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, and everybody listening, you as well. Miss Claire Lopez, thank you so much. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy and thank you for your insight. I legitimately appreciate it, and I wouldn't keep having you back on weekly if I didn't legitimately love talking to you. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
too.
Guys,
Take care.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Please go follow her Twitter. Happy Easter,
Recording
everybody.
stopped.
God bless. Take care. Peace. And guys, lastly, real quick, about to go get some groceries. Please go into the description, American Hartford Gold, or text Tommy 65532. You can win up to $5,000 of silver. This is 100 ounces. This is about $2,500. So you win two of them. Win two of them. Um, for World War III, Heaven's Harvest. I've had on the founder Clayton. 25-year shelf life, and they even have seeds, so you can plant your own garden. Bullion, Prepper Food, and of course Prismatic Energy. My buddy Seth. You can get 10% off battery systems. I think they run from $2,000 up to $30,000. 10% off. That's $3,000. That ain't fucking nothing. And those three, as you can tell, I'm very proud of my new pitch. I think I made up yesterday. Bullion, Prepper Food, battery systems. Those are all kind of geared towards off the grid, self sustaining. Collapse the system. And then my fourth sponsor, I would say, is on the off chance none of those things happen and you have to live a long, healthy life. And you don't get to go, oh, there's going to be a war. Well, you might live to 80, in which case, the Wellness Company. Go take your vitamins, go take your supplements, go take your fish oil, your alpha lipoic acid, your acetyl L-carnitine, your alpha GPC, your resveratrol. You want to go get all of those. Your picoguanol, that weird French maritime root extract shit that's good for your brain. You want to go get that. Go get your vitamin C, your D, your E. You want your CoQ10, your turmeric, your quercetin. You want your multivitamins. You want it all. Go get it. Be healthy. Support the podcast. Or if you go in the description, you can click on the locals. That's the red button on Rumble for daily exclusive videos of me screaming into the void, the behind the scenes, which is anything but cool. It's actually, you see just how barely I'm holding it together, both in a business sense and mentally. Or you can go to the PayPal, the Cash App, the Patreon, any of those things. Or you can become a monthly supporter on Rumble. Or you can super chat. You can super chat during live streams, the game streams. Or you can go buy my merch. My merch is all my own custom graphic designs, self-taught, 2016 to 2019. I put a lot of time into that. Those exist on hoodies. Or you can you just go get the designs. You get them printed on giant tapestries, blankets, and iPad covers and all that shit. So, again, if you guys like this podcast, if you like the range of guests I have on, and if you like I would like to think the authenticity and at least the attempt to be humble, you know, please go throw it a couple bucks. The show does run off money, and by that I mean rent. That's it, because this is a full-time job. I put a solid 12 hours in a day, most days more. Um, it's nonstop. It's around the clock, and you can't have a job while doing this. This is the job. There's a lot of prep work going into it. Authors, books, reading, all that shit. That is it. It's not, hey guys, go join my local so I can afford a Ferrari. Although I wouldn't mind a Ferrari. Really, it's help me pay for rent so I can keep doing these shows. If you like them, if you like my interview style, you like the guests I get, or you just hate watch, whatever you want, I don't care. Go throw it a couple bucks. You may think that it doesn't really make a difference. It does. I track every penny. It does. So even if you come in, and some people will go on buy me a coffee and they'll be like they'll send $5 and be like, I know it doesn't help a lot. No, it does. And I'm not being nice when I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. So guys, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for making my dream come true that I'm able to do this. And I hope you guys enjoy the content, and hopefully it's a symbiotic relationship. And again, you guys have a wonderful Easter. And yeah, much love, everybody. Take care. God bless. Peace.